Welcome to Unchained Business. I think this is episode 12. I think.
Oh, I have no idea. I talk to you so much.
I know. I think this is episode 12. We are still in Paraguay, but today is a topic that we alluded to 2 podcasts ago, which is how to find good people, because that is one of the challenges that I have had through most of my business career, and that's one of the biggest questions I get from you guys is, well, how do you find people who are really good? And Billie is an expert at this. She's way better at this than I am. My ability to hire people is okay.
Yeah.
I've been all right.
I mean, you found me, so you were doing all right.
There you go. So I've had, decent luck, not great, not horrible. I'm probably, on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 6 when it comes to hiring people, which is better than a 2. Because I know guys who are like at a 2 or a 3. They hire, and they're constantly bitching about all the problems they have. They're firing people all the time. And so I've never had that. I've just had the standard problems that most business owners have. So do you want to how do you want to do this? You just want to cover your process? Why don't you do that?
You know what? It's not even a process as much as it is a philosophy, Caleb.
Okay. Explain.
First, you need to cultivate your staff. You don't just find good people. You have to give them something that helps them develop into the good people that they already are. And I know that sounds like a touchy-feely crap kind of thing.
Yeah, so be more tactical.
But here's what I mean by that. First of all, it doesn't matter where you source people. It doesn't matter if you put an ad in the newspaper. I mean, unless you're 812, I hope you don't do that. But, putting something out on the internet, going to Fiverr or Upwork, going to the job center in your local community, it doesn't matter where you go to find these people, they exist. I think where a lot of business owners really get messed up is they have expectations, right?
Yes.
You need to have this college degree. You need to have this exact amount of training.
Oh, I see.
You need. So you create this list of supposed needs.
Yes.
And most of the time it's completely bullshit. Unless you are like a doctor, a dentist, a psychoanalyst, an advanced an aerospace engineer. Do you really need that 4-year degree? Does your staff, does your admin need to have a 4-year degree? Absolutely not.
And you know my opinion about college anyway, so I've never given a shit about that, but anyway.
So that's my first tip is really evaluate your expectations. Are you asking for degrees, certifications, and skills because you think someone needs to have it because that's the norm? Or, do you actually need that very, very specific and narrowly defined skill set? The likelihood is that you don't need that person with the degree. They don't need that education. You're actually going to suffer for them having that education and preconceived notions about how to do things.
What do you mean by that?
So a good example, I come from the horse world. Most Olympic riders will not hire somebody to work in their stables who has an equine science degree.
Really?
Because
Why?
They're taught things that are contrary to what their ethos is. They're doing things a different way.
Interesting.
It's much easier to train someone than it is to retrain someone. So why would you start with a candidate that you may need to retrain?
That's a really good point. So I'll give you a quick parallel is that not so much anymore. I've done this for many years, but for a while I was doing professional speaking where you're actually paid to do speeches around the country and things like that. And so I worked with a lot of professional speakers. And so when you talk to like professional speakers, coaches that coach you specifically on getting paid to speak, they say the same thing. They say, so I recommend Toastmasters for you guys,
yeah.
which is hugely important. That's what I did. It improves your confidence, improves your sales skills. I strongly recommend it. But the one little thing is, if you're ever planning on being a public speaker, you're probably not. So it's probably not relevant to you. But what these coaches would say, what you just said, they said, if you came up through Toastmasters, they don't want to take people on because you learn all the wrong, in terms of being a professional speaker, you learn the wrong shit according to them.
Yep.
And so you have to unlearn a bunch of stuff. So it's a Toastmaster is good for corporate people or people who are salespeople
or people that, like myself, are just
terrified.
Exactly. Don't
Right.
do well with one-on-one.
Right.
It gives you that opportunity to develop those relationships, but in a public speaking
So
way,
I still,
which is easier.
Yeah. So I still recommend Toastmasters.
Yeah.
I'm not rescinding that. Please do Toastmasters. It'll change your fucking life. It's awesome. I'm just talking about that little segment of the market where you want to be a professional speaker and get $20,000 for a keynote. Toastmasters is not the path, even though you think it would be. So
exactly. So understand that training doesn't necessarily equate to training for what you need. I think that's the biggest problem. And also, there are so many amazing people like us that didn't go to college.
I didn't.
I didn't either. You mean we're uneducated according to most of the Western norms? Oh golly, it's really,
But how much money do we make?
Exactly.
Let's not give numbers. But
exactly. We're
doing okay.
We're not exactly trash collectors.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty great.
Yeah.
And that's because people have allowed us the space to develop the skills that we have. And we've taken the time to develop those skills that follow our own interest, which means that we can give more to the process. I'm a huge geek for business and for operations and organizing things. So instead of going to school where I had to learn, this is how you write a paper on this esoteric English book, and this is your, blah, blah, quack, quack crap you're never going to use. I got to spend my time devoted to learning how to be better at organizing and following those interests of mine.
Real world skill sets.
Exactly, which leverages directly into a need that other people have that is undeveloped. So when you're looking for staff, the best thing I can say is hire for what you want to train someone into, not for the exact skill set they have right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is when you develop someone, let's say that you worked with Caleb or I when we were 18. We come into your business with an energy that is hard to rein in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because we come in with gusto, with a lot of elan, and when owners give you a chance to grow in that, and they say, "Wow, you're good at this. Can you do this? Do you want to do this?" You organically expand and change what those job roles are according to how a person's performance and needs.
Which we've done in our team.
Exactly, our teams morph pretty regularly, and that's something we want to happen. So
quite a bit actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Including our key people, we've moved people around not based on a job title, but based on what we see they're good at. And correct me if I'm wrong. What we see they're good at, because sometimes they don't see what they're good at. That happens too.
Yeah.
And what's the second thing? What we see they're good at,
and what they want to do.
Right, and what they want to do. So I've done this, and I know you do this. We regularly ask them, where do you want to be? If you could just design your own job here, where would you want to be? And we try to put them there because you want, I think I've mentioned this before, it's a concept out of EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System, where you want right people in the right seats. So a lot of problems internally in operations in a business is you have not necessarily the wrong people, but the right people in the wrong seats. And so the objective of the company, and this is my objective I set a year ago, is I want everyone in the company to sit exactly in the seats where they want to be and where they're good. And that way, you don't have to manage as much because they're doing what they like. Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly. And that's the point where they become a thought partner instead of just a staffer or an employee or whatever the label is you put on it. We give them the opportunity to share with us their ideas. We never say no to exploring ideas. Mm-hmm. We never shut people down. And if someone says, Jeff is a good example, he's great at operations, which is what we brought him in for. Mm-hmm. But, we recognize in him a skill for coaching and consulting. So I started.
And you were actually like prodding him into it for a while. And actually for a while, I'm like, will you leave Jeff alone? Maybe he doesn't want to fucking do it.
Exactly.
And you're like, no, and then what happened?
Yep. So now Jeff did it. We convinced him over that hurdle, and we did it collectively. So we would support Jeff. We didn't just say, okay, go coach now. We brought him into the 90-day business builder. So he was supported by the two of us and got to be a player in that, but without having to be at the forefront.
And $500K. And now he is like the most requested coach, I think
after me, yeah.
after
Absolutely.
you, he is the by far. Guys want to keep talking to him. He is so good at coaching. It's crazy.
And now that
What the hell?
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, we did have to nudge him a little bit.
We did. Well, you
but
did.
it wasn't a big nudge. It was just, hey, you know, you should do this. You should try it.
Yeah.
Just give it a go. And now it's his favorite thing to do. He wakes up with joy.
He loves it, and he's really fucking good. It's hard. It can be hard to be a good coach because it requires a very specific skill set. It requires a lot of EQ. It requires a lot of things. And you're better at this than I am. You saw in him he had all those qualities, and you knew he'd be good at it and liked it. And now he's, other than you, we have a lot of good coaches. I want to say he's the best coach. God, he might be.
But he's the most
Holy shit, he's great.
coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were right. So
I often am, and you know, I attribute a lot of this to that weird ADHD kind of psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a really,
Yes.
I don't understand it, but I understand vibes.
yeah, you do better than me. Way better than me.
Almost immediately, and I can do it like walk into a room and do a vibe check immediately. I may not understand what's going on, but I know if the vibe is off.
So let me talk about that. So Billie has done 99% of the hiring for me over the past 4 or 5 years. Matter of fact, you and I right now are hiring someone together, which is unusual because it's a sales position. This is why this is a good topic for this.
Yeah.
So if you are more like me or worse than me, where you don't have that Billie ability to see where people would fit and to immediately know what people would be good at, and you don't like hire, then you can hire, once you're ready to do this, someone like Billie to do your hiring for you. Because I get questions all the time, well, how do you hire? I said, I don't know, Billie does it. So the last 5 years you've hired everybody. I haven't had to hire anybody because Billie does it, because I knew that wasn't a skill set I had. And it's SW work, so I want to be growing the business, not hiring staff. I don't want to do that. I'm not a good manager. I'm not terrible, but I'm not good, so I don't want to do that.
It's not your wheelhouse.
It's not. And so if once you get to the point where the income, it makes sense, and it makes sense sooner than you think in terms of income. It's not like, I have to make $20,000 a month. No, you don't. Anywhere near there. You can hire someone like Billie to do your hiring for you and to do your vetting for you, to help you slot people. You can do that. You don't have to do it to her degree, but you can do it to the point where you have that thing outsourced as well. You can outsource outsourcing. I know you don't like that word. But
No,
you can
but it's true.
You can outsource your outsourcing, which is what I did. So one of the first things I did with you. Matter of fact, that is like the first thing I said. I said, look, you need to hire people. I don't know. And
Exactly.
so you have that option too if you're not. Now, some of you are going to be good at this. Some of you are going to be like her already and be really good at then great. Do that yourself and then work that into your plan. But if you're more like me or worse than me, hire someone like Billie to have this done for you, so you don't have to worry about this function, and you still have to pay attention to it. But just be aware you may not have the skill set that she has, because I don't. I have a little bit. Again, I have maybe 60% of what she has.
Well, in the same way that I can't, speak extemporaneously like Caleb can, and have that, joie de vivre on camera. We all have our different skills.
Right.
Understand what yours are and delegate if you need to, or if you know that will benefit you in some way.
Right.
So the next thing I'll say about hiring good people, finding good people, is probably get rid of the people that you have now. If you have a family member or a friend, in 95% of cases, I would say get rid of them immediately, because they're toxic to the culture when you do start bringing other people in.
She's big on this.
You have to be really careful to curate that environment. If you have somebody pissing in the pool, it ruins the environment for everyone. It doesn't matter if they're your friend. It doesn't matter if they're your mom. It doesn't matter if they're your kid. It doesn't matter. They need to play nicely with everyone and be part of that ethos that brings people together and lets people grow, rather than saying, nope, this is how we always did it before, I'm not doing this,
We all have
etc.
examples of companies we've worked with where there was strong family entanglements, and it made everything,
It makes it very, very difficult. And people resent, too, when they see a family member in particular who doesn't pull their weight. And that is absolutely not the case in this dynamic. Caleb has a few family members involved. They do absolutely pull their weight. I would never say that they don't. But there is that sort of emotional disconnect where they won't, not all of them will play nicely the way they should. So evaluate that before you bring other people in, and understand that you have a close relationship with your friends and family, and that's important to you. And we don't want to ruin that or change that within the business. But they also have to understand that you're building an ethos around yourself. And they are not the key player in that. Your staff are actually the most important people in that.
Can you define because you said that twice now. Can you define what ethos? I think I know what you mean, but what does the ethos mean?
You create the culture of your business. So the culture in mine and Caleb's businesses together is that we communicate, we're open, everything is visible to everyone else, meaning that we use that there's a great degree of transparency in almost all of our transactions and communications. It also means that we give people a voice and they're aware that they have that voice. It won't be stifled by us or anyone else.
Yep, very important.
We won't allow any trash talking, or pointing fingers. We all own our mistakes. We own the challenges that come with our roles, etc.
And by the way, this applies to everyone, including myself and her.
Yes.
Me as the owner, it applies to everyone. Many times in meetings, I've said, we have this huge problem, it's 100% my fault.
Yeah.
Right, so you just that doesn't apply to just some people, that applies to everyone, going from the owner of the business down to the admin people or even people below that, it's everybody. Right.
Exactly. We never point the fingers and say, you did this, you did that.
Right.
We say, this thing happened. We need to make this change. And so that is the ethos of our business. What drives us and keeps us together as a group is that we understand it's a safe space for all of us to express whatever's on our mind with ownership of those issues and with the knowledge that other people in the group are here to support and find solutions with and for you.
This is very Alpha Male 2.0. This sounds familiar. Letting people communicate, not getting upset, not pointing fingers, taking ownership, responsibility of things you do, all that stuff, not getting, transparency. This is all very congruent to everything I talk about. I mean, I just happen to find someone who agrees with all these things and we mesh this way. That's also important when you're hiring someone who is a key player. You should have many conversations. You and I had several conversations before you were started. Many conversations to make sure you vibe with the person, because you can have very effective, I've been in this scenario, I'm sure you have. You can interview or meet people who are very effective. This would be a great person for this, but you don't vibe, you don't click. You don't have to click 100%. You'll never click 100% with a lot of people. I've done videos about how you need to work with people who are not like you.
Yes.
That's really important. So I'm not saying they have to be like you. No one's like me. I'm a weirdo. Okay? So you're similar, but no one's gonna be like, especially if you're a fucking weirdo like me, it's not like they have to be like you. You have to click and vibe where you say, I could work with this person and enjoy this person's company and enjoy working with this person without having to try to enjoy. Because I've been in scenarios, maybe you have too, where you have the clients and maybe other companies or maybe people you've hired up by mistake, you have to try to enjoy it. You have to force it.
Or they start working for you and in a couple months you realize they're kind of like ER and they're always down, they're always dragging the energy down.
Oh shit.
Or they're always complaining about something. We cut that shit out. Immediately, like a mercenary. If we can't work through it, if we can't help them understand and change, and we don't want, we're not forcing the change. We're saying, hey, this is how we work.
Yeah, we are.
This is the activity
we're
that
forcing
we need
it.
to happen or leave.
Yes.
Well, I don't care. I'm not forcing you to change. I'm forcing you to understand that there is a consequence if you don't.
Oh, right.
Right?
That's another way. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Right. We're not forcing anything.
We are not changing. That's the thing.
Exactly.
This is how we do business. We are not changing. You come with us or you leave. Right. Again, very Alpha 2.0.
Exactly.
Right.
And we've done that. I've fired friends for that reason.
I know you have.
We had a big fallout pissing match that this person lost their mind that I fired them. But guess what? You're not playing in the water. You're pissing in it. We can't have it.
Toxicity and, that's an overused word, negative people in your business cost you money. That's the fucking problem. And it's not just that they're irritating, because I can work with irritating people. I'm the kind of person, I don't care. As long as I'm making money, I don't give a fuck. But the problem is negativity in your business, and part of the rule, one of the natural laws of the universe when you're running your own business is that when you have a team, especially, and the larger the team, the more this is true. When people have a problem, they don't tell you. They tell each other. They don't tell the boss. Even if the boss is the nicest guy on earth, that's just human behavior. And so if you have a negative person or several negative people, God forbid, and they're all just talking to each other all through, it could be, by the time it gets to you at the top, even if you foster a ethos of communication, it's already too late. You've already lost thousands of dollars or more because of all the problems this causes. Negativity costs you money. It costs you money in real life too, just in your personal life. If you're a negative person, that's very expensive. So it's 10x that when it's someone you're paying and you're working with other people that you're paying. You don't want that. You got to cut that off fast.
That's right. That's why we believe in that mercenary methodology of hiring slowly and firing very fast, very quickly.
Right. Hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow, fire fast.
Bullshit.
I've been saying that in my blogs for 15 years. Hire slow, fire fast. Yes. And that's the opposite of what most business owners do, especially traditional business owners. They hire quick because, oh my God, we need someone and this is we have this problem, that problem, and I can relate to those feelings. I've had those feelings myself. We need this person here because, so they just grab someone who looks good. They interview 3 people. Okay, you're good. And then that person or other people, they just have problem after problem after problem, and they make a bunch of excuses about, well, I can't, if I fire this person, I got to hire someone new and train them. This goes back to SOPs and operations manuals we talked about in this podcast. Then you'll have a less of an issue with that. We've already talked about that, but hire slow, fire fast. What's funny is that Donald Trump, when he was president, I would have arguments with Donald Trump supporters, and they would say, well, Donald Trump, he does that. You say hire fast. Or no, you say fire fast. And because I would say, in Donald Trump's presidency, he had many people who would work for him like a week.
Yeah.
And the Donald Trump method is hire fast, fire fast. You don't want to do that either. Hire slow, fire fast.
And when we say slow, so we're working on hiring someone together right now. You posted that last week. Mm-hmm. We got a bunch of resumes, and I think resumes are largely useless.
I agree.
I like understanding a little baseline and what your timeline has been, but that's all. Mm-hmm. So we asked them to create a 2-minute video.
This is a good idea. Steal this idea. This is her idea.
That's what I did this morning, actually. So in vetting those people, I watched their 2-minute video. I wanted to see how they presented themselves, how they chose to pitch for the job, if they, were innovative in any way in what they said to me. And the one that I'm the most keen on was the most innovative, the most confident, and was able to cite examples of work he's done that's been clever and innovative and thinking outside of the box.
We haven't talked about this yet. That's cool.
I don't want someone who says, I can do XYZ thing that's clearly defined. I want someone to say, I came in and I figured out all of these different things that we could apply to the business. So when I do interviews, I don't ask traditional interview questions. I say, tell me a little bit about your work history. Tell me a little bit about what excites you.
Give them the crazy question you give.
Well, there are a couple of the questions that I give.
Give them all the crazy questions you give them. Those are fun.
So my favorite 2 questions are, you have $100,000 and the next month off. What do you do with that time and that money? So if someone says to me, oh, that's awesome, I'm going to take my boyfriend and go to the beach and we're going to drink margaritas, I say, okay, pass. Because I want the person who says, I'm really interested in learning about whittling wooden spoons. And I'm going to whittle 400 wooden spoons and donate them to charity. But I'm going to do something active. I'm going to do something that pushes myself. Right. I'm going to do something that benefits society or another human being or an animal.
Something outside the box, something creative
exactly,
and different.
That you are physically doing something with a purpose.
Right.
That brings you joy rather than just sitting and being idle bringing you joy.
Right.
If idling makes you happy, you have no place in my world because I can't resonate with that. Caleb and I relax, but we don't hang out and relax.
I don't relax.
It's not our vibe to just kind of sit and do nothing.
No, I don't like it.
So I don't want to be surrounded by people like that.
Right.
I want to be surrounded by people that give me solutions, that come up with the strangest shit that we could possibly do.
People, you know what, as you're talking, particularly people on our team, people who have energy.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of mentally going through everyone we work with. Everyone we work with have energy. They're high energy people, even if they're introverts. I'm a high energy, so are you. We're both high examples of high energy introverts. So I'm not talking about introvert or extrovert. I'm talking about people with energy. I'm just kind of mentally going through the list of everyone we work with in our team in Salt
and I can't think of anyone.
Everyone has high energy. Some good people have too high energy, which is
but
a quality problem. That's fine. But we have high energy people. That's what we're looking for as you were talking. I'm like, the one thing we have in common for all these people we have and the people we like
Yep.
are people with high energy, because high energy people get shit done. High energy people are more creative, think outside the box. High energy people tend to make less excuses for bullshit.
Yeah.
You want high energy people. That's it.
And because we've given them a safe space in which to do that, where they know they can escalate to us, where they know that we're going to take responsibility for our mistakes or our shortcomings, you know, they know it's a safe place. So they come to us with even more ideas, and they expend that energy within your business to help it grow. And that's why I often refer to them as thought partners. Because Jeff, for example, was hired to just do ops, which is kind of just managing the other people. But that's not what happens.
No.
You know, we have meetings between the three of us every single week. He is a thought partner that we bring in. And as we think of new products, in fact, in some cases, the guys have thought of the new products for us.
I'm doing something in 3 days that was Jeff's idea for you guys. I'm doing a workshop in 3 days. It was literally his idea. I'm like, and he just kind of fell out of his mouth in a meeting. I went, that's perfect.
Yes.
So yeah.
So it's finding good people is just a reflection of you allowing people to do what they're good at, allowing people to grow within the business, allowing them to be your thought partners, because even your admin, even your secretary should be your thought partner.
Correct.
They're your gatekeeper. They're the person who is the most intimately familiar with what your workflow is like. They need to be allowed to be a thought partner rather than a servant. That's where people go wrong.
We've had people at the admin level, I'm thinking of 3 or 4 examples right now, who have given us ideas for products and services where we made more money.
Yep.
I'm not talking about management team people. These are admin level people. They say, hey, the areas that they work in, they say, you know what would be a good idea is this. I'm thinking it's Erica right now. But
me too.
Yes, several ideas in like the UMS program, and I'm like, that's a fantastic idea, and I did it immediately.
And because we don't work in those routine admin functions, it's really easy for us to overlook it. We're never going to come up with those ideas.
Right, we're not, because you're too far removed from that, from the tactical. Again, this is as you grow your staff. If you're brand new and you're by yourself, this isn't an issue yet. Just as this the thought process, it will be. This is the thought process for you, as she said, about culture and ethos. The culture you want to build around people working with you, and you'll attract these kinds of people. And there's also a big aspect of that is you will attract a certain kind of person when you put this out. Yes. So I've known entrepreneurs who attracted a certain kind of person that was not good. And it was kind of their fault. It wasn't that they were doing something, sometimes they were. You know what I mean.
But
you attract what you put out.
Yeah, exactly. And what we put out is something very open, and that's what we explained to people at the beginning. Is, you know, these are the things that we're looking for right now. Which of them resonate with you? And we shuffle people around, and it's actually there's no disruption to our flow in doing that.
When we move people between positions?
Exactly. People
no,
just kind of
things improve. No, things improve when that happens. We've done this several times with several different people, and every time we did it, the business improved.
Yep. And it's really just a result of letting people sit in those multiple seats that best fit them. That
they like and that they're good at and that they have the opportunity to move into. And then sometimes, to her point earlier, you have to ask them. Sometimes you say, what do you want to do? Or maybe you should do this. Sometimes you have to prod a little bit or at least ask. I regularly ask. I'm much better at this now than I was years ago.
Yeah,
all the people on the team, where do you want to be? I don't want to tell you need to be here. You tell me where you want to be, and I want you there because then I know you like it. You'll work better. You'll be happier. You'll make more money. I'll make more money. That's what I want. So, yes.
Yep. So the egos, like Caleb and I, our egos are not involved with this. You know, our egos have no
not with
place.
This. It's involved in other places.
In other places, right? But when it comes
No.
to dealing with this, you know, with the staff, the freelancers,
No.
our egos do not. We
I
don't
don't
come
care.
in and say, "I'm the boss." Do
No.
blah blah quack quack.
Yeah.
We never ever say that.
Again, the alpha male 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to make money. I want to build an organization that is effective, that makes money, that actually helps people make major changes in their lives. That's my priority. Not telling people what to do. I don't want to tell people what to do.
And I don't want to have to babysit.
That
I
too.
want people to own their projects end to end, and because we allow them to do that, they take the ownership. So that onus is completely off of us.
Right.
So don't think about how to find good people. think about how to be a good business owner who allows for thought partners to come and work with you.
Yeah.
And it will make your
That's
life so much easier. It's really as easy as that. And you can cultivate that in any person who shows you a willingness if they have the basic skills. Just Erica came in without the skills, the specific skills we were looking for. We used specific systems and tools. We knew we were going to have to onboard
now
someone
she's a
for
fucking
that.
genius at these things.
And
she's
she's
better than
teaching the
anyone in
rest
the
of us.
business at a lot of those areas. She's better than anyone in the company. Right.
Exactly. But we could have gone about it and said we need an expert in Kartra, which is the system that we use to host the videos and the advertising, et cetera, et cetera. We could have said that, but in doing so, we would have limited ourselves. We wouldn't have had somebody who's grown into the workhorse of the business like Erica has. We would have had an expert who came in and said, this is all I want to do.
Right.
This is all I can do. This is what
someone
you
who would
hired
probably
me
not be
for.
a long-term partner.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing that I think we can't express enough is never once in our businesses has anyone ever come to me and said, that's not my job.
It's never happened on our team, ever?
Never.
Cool.
Never.
I didn't think so.
I've never had that in any of my businesses, at least in the last 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
And when you do have that, you get rid of that person. They're a tumor that you need to cut out immediately.
No, that's bullshit. And especially in a small business. There's no such thing as my job in a small business. Correct. Because I've seen that in client companies I've worked with. I've never had that problem either. But I see it all the time.
All the time.
Oh, fuck, are you kidding? Yes, that's
and the
not how
bigger
this
your
works.
organization, the more you see of that. And the
to
more,
be fair, it makes a little more sense in a bigger organization, I guess. I mean, you could make the argument, but in a small, maneuverable, mobile, entrepreneurial enterprise like what you will have or have, and what you and I have, you can't have even 1% of that attitude. That's not how that works. You just can't. And I like the companies where, forget the examples of who these were, but like I've mentioned this, where whenever someone gets a problem from a customer, regardless of their job title, they own that problem forever until it's fixed.
Yeah, it can be the COO.
Right.
It can be the
vice
parking
president.
attendant.
It doesn't fucking matter. Right. Right. So good point.
So think about that. It's not about finding good people. It's about being the best leader that you can be and allowing people to grow, allowing people to shine, and allowing people to contribute to your business in a meaningful way. Because 99% of people will do that if you give them a chance. And in about 95% of businesses, people will never, ever have the chance to shine.
No. This stuff doesn't occur to 95% of business owners. Everything that we're talking about, especially stuff she's talking about right now, doesn't even occur to people. And you can't be, the whole point of Sovereign CEO is more freedom for you. So you can't be a structured, rigorous org chart, 1950s business manager type personality. That doesn't work. That's not going to make you happy long term. You have to flow with this stuff in terms of where people are, what they're doing. That's why we've been able to move people around in our team. We don't care who is in what box. We just want the right people in the right boxes eventually. Right. So that all goes back to everything we talk about.
Yeah. And as those people move away from the roles that they maybe were in to begin with, they have the skill and knowledge to train the next person. We cross-train for every function anyway.
That's something else we do, right?
So there's never a vacancy, really.
Right.
And our turnover rate, have we ever had anyone quit? I can't.
Let's see.
In the last
we had to
5
get rid
years,
of 1 or 2 people
I
a long
fired
time.
2 people.
Yeah. Did we have? Have we?
No, I don't.
We've never had anyone quit?
I don't think we've ever had anyone quit.
That can't be right. Really?
I'm
shocked. Maybe you're right.
The one graphic design firm that we used to use in the Philippines kind of decided to go a different direction. They've turned into a VA company now. So
but we still work with them.
But we still work with them too. So even as they adjusted what their company is and what they offer, we still work together.
I think you're right. I don't think we've had anyone quit. Is that right? I'm shocked at this.
Yeah, we've
never had anyone quit in this company.
In the last 5 years since I've been with you. We've
you're
never
right.
had anyone quit.
We've had people leave because, we had someone leave because of a health issue. But that was a brief thing.
Yep.
No one's quit. I'm shocked. That is a real factoid I can add to my list of cool facts, not factoid. Facts. Mini fact I can add to my list of mini facts. I've never had someone quit this. You're right. I'm
and it's
shocked.
not that we bend over backwards.
Holy
We're not
shit.
sending them huge bonuses. We're not calling them every Tuesday to tell them what a wonderful person they are.
No.
We're simply allowing them to be thought partners and to understand that they are They have an important role, and we want to hear their voice.
Even through challenges that we have had in this business over the past 3 years, 4 years, we've had challenges like any other company does.
Oh, we restructured the company. We changed what the
A lot of
offerings
shit.
are.
Yeah. I fall behind on projects, and then people just scramble to catch me up. So we've had issues. But even through the problems where people got upset, no one's left.
No.
You're right.
And we talk about it. So, Jeff and I were just nagging poor Caleb last Tuesday on our call about, getting things done.
Right.
Getting ahead of the schedule more because it creates frustration for Erica and for some of the other staff.
Right.
So those are conversations that people are welcome to have with us.
Right.
And that door is open.
Right.
So I think we'll leave you with that today. You create your culture. The way you find good people is by being a good person and allowing people to grow with you. Treat them as a thought partner because they're invested in you.
Regardless of what they're doing.
Yeah, and regardless of what you think, I'm just hiring them for this role.
Right.
The reason that they're coming to work with you, it is for a check, but you get to give them a lot more than that.
Initially, it's for a check.
Yes.
So initially, when they don't know you and they don't have all this, it's for a check. The goal is when they're with you. Oh my gosh, this is a really cool group of people to be with. This is a cool person to work with. You want them to stay and expect more from just a check. That's what you want from long term. Yes.
And they need to know that you're as invested in them and you're open to hearing them.
Mm-hmm.
Start thinking that way as you interact with the staff you do have or in your workplace and see how it feels for you. Be mindful of this, give it a try, and understand that at the end of the day, you're in charge of your world. You create your reality, you create your staff.
Your staff is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Literally, it is. And I've been in business where the boss is an asshole and the staff are all full of assholes. I've been in business where the boss is completely disorganized and does what the fuck he's doing, and the staff are disorganized, don't know what the hell they're doing. And I've been in companies where the boss was a great guy or great gal and was energetic and fun and excited. The staff was energetic and fun. It's a reflection of you.
It is.
Yep.
It is. So good people don't come from being rigid. Good people come from being flexible, being open, and understanding that through life, everyone's needs and goals change, including your own. So be there with that flexibility to receive people where they are and for what they need and can offer you. And you'll find your turnover reduces, your labor costs go down, and you come up with all of these new opportunities to improve your processes, improve your products, and improve your business, which then improves your life. So our staff are people that I'll say it, maybe you won't, but I love our staff and every one of them.
I love our staff.
I genuinely love them and I appreciate everything that they bring to the table, and I try to reflect exactly that to them.
Yeah.
We're not here to be their boss, we're here to be the leaders, and that's your role as well.
So I'll leave you with this final thing. If you're at that place where you're looking to hire people and you want to work with her, I'll put a link below for the 500K program where you work with her for a year, and me.
And Jeff.
And all of our coaches, the ones you want to work with. But a lot of her, because you're a big draw for that program. So I'll put a link for that. If you want to work with her, if you need someone to help you hire people and things like that, I'll put a link below in this video. Video/podcast. Cool.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us again. I know we went a little over today, but
we're good.
That's kind of our vibe.
It all works.
We get to be flexible. Alpha 2.0.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you next time.